We'd like to welcome everybody to the Ottawa City Commission study session. Do we have any public comments?
None registered.
Great, thank you. Moves on to items to be placed on the regular City Commission agenda, which is the minutes from the April 5th regular meeting. Commissioners, did you have a chance to read those over? Do you have any changes? Would you like to move those on to our agenda for Wednesday? Great, will do. Thank you. All right, that moves us on items for presentation and discussion. The first one is a resolution approving the replat, renaming, and accepting additional dedication of public right-of-way for Oak Star Bank Addition. Sorry, I didn't know where you went. Welcome.
Thank you. We did this, I believe, in the last study session of the resolution was not part of your packet. At that time, so nothing has changed as far as the presentation goes. So I do have it here if you'd like to review it again.
Mr. Taylor, you weren't here the other day. Do you want her to review anything for you?
No, I'm fine. Okay.
You have, commissioners, do you have any questions for Jen at this point? You okay with moving this on to Wednesday's agenda? We will. Thank you. All right, item 2 is the resolution of intent to lease purchase of the fire engine. Director Landis, Chief Mathias, welcome.
Thank you. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
You all are fairly used to this process, but the lease purchase side of the purchase of this fire engine is where we are now. So we came to you last year. We had the authority to move ahead with ordering the fire engine. It has taken all of these months to get built. And all of that has taken place, and now we're getting to the point of needing to do a lease purchase, or at least send out those bids. So in order to do that, in front of you is the resolution of intent to reimburse ourselves for the purchase of that fire engine, and it's done in the form of a resolution. And the total cost of the unit is $770,116.33. And the process would be that once this is approved, if you consider this on Wednesday, then we would release an RFP for bids to our local banks, ask for them to give us a bid for a 10-year lease purchase for the fire engine, and then bring back to you those bids, and then move ahead with the process of having that actually funded and financed. I did run a little bit of a scenario. As you know, we're somewhat of a victim of time lapse between when we ordered the fire engine and how great the interest rates were at the time and how terrible they are right now. And so the difference is quite significant in the amount of interest that we would be, or could potentially be paying. We don't know exactly what those bids would be, but just based on our last lease purchase bid, which it was over 4%, it's closer to 4.5%. But what we were getting last year was somewhere around 1.2%. So, or the year before in 21. So that will definitely have an impact on the overall cost. We do have the opportunity to extend that out, but 10 years is a pretty good time frame to be able to pay for it before things start to potentially happen, where you might have maintenance costs and those types of things. So you want to make sure that you pay it off during that useful life period. Although we do keep our units for a significantly longer period of time. I mean, they stay in the fleet for 20 years, 25 years generally.
Yeah, so the one that this new engine will replace is engine 3, it's 1996, so it's 27 years old. So it's definitely reached its prime. I would suggest not to go over the 10 years, because then we have 4 other apparatus, or 3 other big apparatus that we have to maintain and continue on some kind of rotation. So backing that off, let's say 5 years, we'll be back in this same situation. We'll have to buy multiple engines in about 3 or 4 year time frame. So with getting the new truck in, and so I was asked earlier, when the new truck comes in, will it be ready to go? And the answer is no. It comes with only the equipment that is is required by NFPA, so pipe poles, ladders, some axes, all other stuff, hoses, nozzles, all loose equipment, we have to, put on the truck and, mount, and so it'll be another 2 to 3 weeks before you see it officially in service on the street, so that does take a little bit of time to get it in here. I called our dealer this morning. They do what they call PDI, post delivery inspection, where they deliver it to the dealership, and they've had a few items they need to replace or fix or something. So they don't have a time frame. I think either the end of this week or next week for sure. With the new truck, we'll have engine 3 that we anticipate selling to rural fire department has been interested in it. And we will sell it. And with it, hopefully with that money, we can put it back into the fund and buy some loose equipment that probably will be purchased. But, you know, it'll help the county fire departments and help us overall. You know, if we need them to come in town to help us. So, we've done this many times. Sold it to rural departments in Franklin County, benefited us well. So.
I appreciate you saying that, because I was gonna say, since Mayor Pro Tem Skidmore wasn't here, and I always ask about Purple Wave and everything, I was gonna ask for him. So I'm glad you brought
you
that
know,
up.
it's hit or miss. You could put a cap or what, I don't know what you call it, but on Purple Wave, you know, if you don't get what you want out of it. But I think they're offering a fair price for it, and I don't think we do any better.
I think it's a good idea.
If you look at a 27-year-old truck, you know, if it's a personal truck or, you know, a fire truck, it's issues and stuff. So I think, you know, they'll get some good life out of it. It's done well. Very well.
And I'm sure it's been well maintained.
Yeah, and I think that's really attractive to some of the rural departments. They can look at it, they maintain, we have all the records. And so with that truck, will go most of the loose equipment that we bought for that truck 27 years ago. So the hose will go with it. You know, a lot of the stuff that we just is hanging around, we're just going to get put on that truck for
Is there any way to utilize the money that is received from the sale of engine 3 to buy down the principal? Since we are paying such a increased rate, is there any way to buy down the principal so that they pay less?
The agreed upon purchase price is $30,000. So we can definitely roll back in and yeah, that's all.
Yeah, if we could, we would just reduce the amount that we would go out to bid for by that amount, if we wanted to do that, and then we would continue to talk about the other, needs equipment that needs to go on and what the cost of that might be, but that's a great question, so we can talk about that and see. Now, so I might just mention then, that in the resolution, it does give an amount, it is a not to exceed amount, so if we do decide in the next several days before we send out the RFP for bids, that it's going to be a lesser amount, that would still be okay based on this resolution, the way it's written. So we will talk about that.
And was there any upfront payment when the order was placed?
That there was an option for that, but we
So if you don't have any other questions today, then our recommendation would be to move this on to your next regular meeting, and we'll do some work on the amount and have those discussions before our discussion Wednesday then. If you have other questions.
Commissioner, you okay with moving this on to Wednesday's agenda?
and I'll have a little presentation for Wednesday. It's a picture and it's a great iPhone.
We will move it on to Wednesday's agenda. Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, item 3 is a review of the ordinance vacating the easement at 929 and 931 East Wilson. Welcome back, Jenna.
we have an applicant, Van Dyke Homes, Slade Van Benner has applied to have a partial vacation of an easement. There was a duplex constructed. It is within its setbacks. It's where it's supposed to be, but at the time it was constructed, they didn't realize that it was going to be over the utility easement. So he's requesting to vacate 2.5 feet of this easement. I've spoken with public utilities and other utility companies, and this is not going to interfere with their access to it. It's not ideal, but it won't interfere with their access to the utility should they need to access them. And this did go to planning commission and there were no public comments and they voted 6-0 to move this item. From the city commission for review.
Is the applicant purchasing?
No, he owns it.
No, the utility. Oh, okay. I see what you mean. Okay.
No, Jenna said this already, but Director Clark, you have no issues, correct, right? I think what do you have, is that an overhead electric line there?
Water line.
Water line, I'm sorry.
We looked at it and it's still agreeing to do what we need to do. We all make mistakes once in a while.
Commissioners, do you have any questions for Jenna? You want to put this on Wednesday's agenda also? All right, we will do that.
All right, thank you.
Thank you. All right, item 4 is a review of material for the consideration of a state historical preservation override application and a public hearing at 10 a.m. on Wednesday, April 19th. Mr. Finch, good afternoon.
Good afternoon, Mr. Mayor and Commissioners. Don't have a PowerPoint for you, so. Sorry about that. We've been, I think everyone on the commission has been through this at least once. The last 2 of these that we had in this community, one was the demolition of a house next to First Baptist Church on Hickory Street. And the most recent one with the dark windows that were placed on the 2nd floor at 401 Main, the corner market building. With Josh Walker rehabilitated. State law allows for the state historic preservation officer to be notified whenever modification or construction or demolition, typically a permit issuance is what triggers them in a historic area or to a building that's on the historic register. Most of Ottawa's downtown is in the historic environs, and therefore SHPO gets notified on projects in downtown. In this case, it was the sign that the city commission had authorized and allowed for permit issuance to place a lighted LED sign on the side of OMA to help advertise coming attractions. And when SHPO was notified, it was their determination that the sign did not fit within the historic guidelines for downtown, even though there are other lighted signs nearby, and they recommended denial and then sent that back to the city. Under state law, now you are authorized to conduct a public hearing, not only from the applicant, which in this case is the city, and I will be presenting to you Wednesday, and then Tiffany from OMA will be presenting to you as well. And then any interested party in the public will have the opportunity to come in and provide testimony to you as well. And then upon the close of the public hearing, you all are free then to consider whether 2 things. One, are there feasible and prudent alternatives to the project as proposed? And that does not mean, are there no alternatives? There may be alternatives, but they may be more expensive. They may not be prudent for some reason. They may affect site triangles of intersection. Those are all factors you'll take into account. We'll talk through those at the time. And then the second part of the inquiry is whether the proposed project has all actions necessary to minimize harm to the historic property as the project implementation goes forward. So be thinking about those 2 sets of questions as we go through this. So you are acting as a quasi-judicial body at that point. So we've had planning decisions in the past where you all, there's been an appeal taken and you're acting as a quasi-judicial body. This will be the same thing. And so you're much like our planning commissioner go through an inquiry that's kind of findings related. here's the findings that are recommended by staff, and you kind of go through that. We'll be doing the same thing. It won't just be a meandering discussion. You'll be talking about factors such as the golden zoning factors. You'll be talking about whether the factors that you're basing your decision on are logically connected to the ultimate decision concerning those two questions: feasible and prudent alternatives and possible planning to mitigate harm. So we're going to focus our inquiry on those two things. I'll help guide you through that discussion when the time comes. But Wednesday, I'm going to get through the public hearing portion of that. You can also choose to postpone your decision after the public hearing is over if you feel like you need more information or don't have something that you need. But typically, the facts are all on the table at that point. In the past, the commission's made the decision immediately upon the conclusion of the public hearing. What questions do you have about the process or what we're going through on that step?
Commissioners, do you have any questions? I don't think we have any.
Excellent. See you Wednesday.
All right. Thank you. I have noticed on the comments by our city manager.
Mayor, Commissioners, thank you. Just looking at the review for the upcoming agenda item for the regular meeting on Wednesday, April 19th, we'll have the public hearing for the OMA signage variance and requests for the amended and restated development agreement for Premier Auto, a resolution authorizing the development agreement for Premier Auto. We'll have the resolution amending resolution 1903-22, which is the intent to issue the IRB for Premier in an amount not to exceed $9.545 million. And then the items additionally that we considered here at the study session for the Oak Star Bank replat, the resolution of intent to finance the fire engine that was previously approved, and the request for vacating the that was just presented. And then just, you know, I'm still getting my feet about me, so I appreciate everyone, their patience, their diligence, and their willingness to always share what's going on, background history. Things are new in processes, and so I appreciate staff handling all kinds of questions that I have. One of the things that I do want to pass along is that at the regular meeting, we'll present an updated 2024 budget calendar. Also want to bring you up to speed that we are meeting with the Aquatic Center Swimming Pool Committee, and Commissioner Kaler is the commission's representative on that with staff and a group of citizens. So, and just to remind everyone, we had an RFP issuance on December 28th of last year, and the submittals were in by February 24th of this year. And the finalists are Water's Edge and Carruthers Construction, Grierson. So we'll have interview and presentations on Wednesday, April 19th with Carruthers, and Thursday, April 20th with Water's Edge, and those are both at 4:30. That's kind of the highlights of where we're at right now. So but entertain any questions you might have for myself or the city team.
I think we have any.
Thank you.
Thank you. Comments by city commissioners. Commissioner Graves.
My only comment is that due to a scheduling conflict, I won't be here on Wednesday. That's what I get.
Right. Commissioner Kaler.
None at this time.
And I have no comments either. A couple announcements. April 19th is our regular meeting at 10 a.m. here at City Hall. And then our next study session is April 24th here at City Hall at 4 p.m. Is there anything else to come before the commission this evening? I'll adjourn.